So, time for some wrestling talk for a minute, and I want to talk about distinctively something iconic in the sense of it that puzzled my head because I was thinking it out loud, and I just said to myself, maybe I need to talk about it. So we know as of earlier this year, after Wrestle Kingdom, the official dissolution of Bullet Club has come upon us, and everyone's either mourning or at some point remembrance of the legacy with this faction, one of the big factions. And I was watching Cody's interview with Finn Balor on his What Do You Want to Talk About podcast about their moments in Bullet Club. And something in my head just made me remember certain things when it came to Bullet Club. Now, I need to know, and maybe many of my wrestling fans can break it down for me, who has more info on this in the sense of it, but when it comes to we talking about the end of Bullet Club, are we talking specifically New Japan Pro Wrestling Bullet Club? Because when you really think about it, if we're talking just that, technically there are two affiliates of Bullet Club that still exist. It's just never been talked about. And that's the thing that brings me to mind. Now, if we're talking beyond New Japan Pro Wrestling Bullet Club, that can't really be a thing either because, again, those two associations. Now, bear with me. Again, I'm putting this in theory because I haven't found any information on this that makes it sense of it. So keep with me. Now, the first one I want to talk about is technically one that's still technically sense of it because it's just changed the name. But technically, I think they can be still considered Bullet Club. And that's the Bang Bang Gang. Or does nobody remember the Bang Bang Gang is technically Bullet Club? I mean, like, I don't see anybody talking about it. I mean, like, this is because the name change of Bang Bang Gang means they're not? They would have made an announcement or make an association in a sense of it. I mean, like, hell, they still sell the shirts. Like, Bullet Club Gold, that's literally what they're originally called. And also, the fact that Juice and Jay were never fully eliminated from Bullet Club leads me to believe this technically still is Bullet Club. They could just make it out of that. And it's not like they Jay White, none of them have no opportunity to go to Japan. I mean, like, this is the big thing for me on that. Like, again, even though Austin and Jay are out due to injury, Jay still showed up at Wrestle Kingdom to give paid homage to Takahashi-san. So he still has some affiliation with the company. You could just go off of Jay with Bullet Club. Like, that still can be Bullet Club in a sense of it, unless he got eliminated by Finn. See, here's the thing, and this is what I'm referring to. Last time I checked, Jay was never eliminated from Bullet Club by Finlay. Finlay just said, we don't associate with Jay since he's over to the other company. That same company that teams up with New Japan a lot of times, especially since it was announced they're going to do another Forbidden Door, which is with that company. So Bullet Club connects with AEW still in New Japan. Finlay just basically said, yeah, he's Bullet Club, but he's not our Bullet Club. But at the same time of it, I'm taking over Bullet Club and I'm making it into something else, which is what led to the formation of the War Dog. But Jay was never eliminated from Bullet. And last time I checked, the only way you are not a Bullet Club member is when you're no longer a member is when you basically get kicked out. You basically get kicked out by attack by them. That happened with War Dogs. We all know that with Oshrey and everyone else. But when it came to Jay, Jay never got the official elimination off of Bullet Club. He never, which means by technical standards, Bullet Club Gold still exists. And in my opinion, that's what's left of Bullet Club, honestly, if that's the case. Because even though they call themselves the Bang Bang Gang, they still are, by technical standards, Bullet Club Gold. Then there's, of course, Bullet Club, I believe they're called Bullet Club West, or basically Bullet Club LA, or whatever we call it. I remember something in the case of that. And that's basically with these four. Jay with the Good Brothers and Chris Bay. And I'm also going to bring up about Chris Bay specifically for Chris Bay. And I'm surprised nobody said this on paper or on video, but let's give credit where it's due. Chris is the only black member of the Bullet Club. And I'm a little heartbroken that no one has seemed to acknowledge that out loud. I've seen only some people discuss about it, but not to a full range of expression about that. Because let's face it, other than a few Japanese, Samoan, and white wrestlers, there's no black wrestler I don't think that's ever been a member of Bullet Club until Chris Bay came. That's what made me love Chris even more. The fact that he was the finesse one in the finesse club of it made sense of it. I'm like, finally, a black member who's a Bullet Club. And I would have loved to have seen it spread a little bit more with other members in the black wrestling world. But we can't help the fault of the fact of situations and fate that happened to him. We can only wish, of course, he gets the recovery and comes back to the ring soon. But at the same time, I refuse to believe that he got kicked out of Bullet Club. I refused. And let's not forget his partner, Ace Austin, who's now in AEW, who associates with the Bang Bang Gang. Ace is a member of Bullet Club. Still, he was never kicked out. And he affiliates with both of them, both the TNA Impact version of Bullet Club and Bang Bang Gang, along with New Japan. So why can't we go off of that? Let's also not forget, Ace and Chris are both part of ABC, which is a duo of themselves for Bullet Club. So both of them being Bullet Club members and never were kicked out also leads me to believe that they technically both are still Bullet Club. And last but finally not least, the Good Brothers. Let's be on that honest. Since they've been back on the indies and out of WWE, we both know they still affiliate with some of the members of the Bullet Club. And technically, they weren't kicked out. And of course, we could also mention the fact of Carl Anderson being one of the founding fathers of Bullet Club. But they never were kicked out. Whether they were on Impact or in New Japan, they were never kicked out. So are they still Bullet Club associated, or are they officially kicked out too? Like, that's the thing that makes it, for me, confusing on. Because, again, last time I checked, the only way you are no longer associated with Bullet Club is if you're formally kicked out. The last time I remember, before War Dogs was created, the last person I remember who was kicked out of Bullet Club was LP. He was kicked out before he left for it because of an injury. That was the last person I remember who got kicked out of Bullet Club. And he was formally kicked out. So, but other than that, I have not seen anyone from any of those people I mentioned who were officially formally kicked out of Bullet Club. Other than the fact that Finlay said, I'm taking over Bullet Club because that Bullet Club is a mockery. That's all. So by technical standards, if AEW's Bullet Club Gold or Bang Bang Gang, along with Good Brothers and ABC, were not formally kicked out, they still could be considered Bullet Club. They still, it makes no sense to just phase them out if they weren't formally kicked out. You have to be kicked out in order to be no longer a member of Bullet Club. That's the last time I remember. The biggest one, of course, was the Elite and Cody Rhodes. All were kicked out. And then, of course, the Gorillas of Destiny and Hikulea were kicked out formally. So, don't they get that situation? The only one I don't know that was ever kicked out or not is the other founding member of Bullet Club, former founding member of Bullet Club, Finn Balor. I never knew if he got formally kicked out. That's the only one I never knew of, because at the time I was around when I was watching Bullet Club. It was around the AJ Styles era. So around that time, Finn was already in WWE, and I had no knowledge about him in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I was never familiar with Prince Devitt. But at the same time, I knew that he was a founding member because of Carl Anderson. Carl I knew about only because of the fact of his association in with Bullet Club. That was my introduction, like same thing for it. So to know that he's the only one I never knew who got kicked out, along with Carl. Like, the two of them being, like, both of them and Bad Luck Fale, I believe, are both affiliated founders of Bullet Club. Now, the only member out of those three who were founders of Bullet Club that are no longer with the company, that officially made it stated they're no longer Bullet Club, was Bad Luck Fale. Bad Luck Fale is the only one I know, because he attacked Bullet Club around the same time Osprey did and attacked Dave Finlay and the War Dogs. And then there's one other thing I need to bring up on this situation that I also want to think that should also be reckoned. I got to talk about Clark Connors and Thekla, specifically Thekla. Now, we know Clark was a member of War Dogs, but while they disbanded in the situation about it. But we also know about his relationship with, and y'all know how I feel about Thekla, even with her current state in AEW as part of Triangle of Madness as such. But unless she made a formal kick out because of her association and relationship with Clark, Thekla is technically considered a member of Bullet Club too, and she was never technically kicked out. So why? So y'all could go that angle. I'm not gonna lie. I wish they had done more with her in that, because I could have seen this. I would have loved to see Bullet Club and Hate to have more association with each other. That was my wish for it completely. Because why would you market this knowing that I would be definitely down for this? And only this came to be of it. Nothing came to fruition of this. I'm disappointed, though, other than one match. So yeah, based on all these facts, I refuse to believe Bullet Club is dead completely. There's still some slivers of it left from other companies, just not New Japan Pro Wrestling. But if it's New Japan Pro Wrestling only, there's still opportunities on those other ones. But if not, we need to address those other ones as well. I just can't believe they're all dead.